Okay, so my Great Gatsby project. I chose the passage on page 159, Wilson's glazed eyes turned out to the ash heaps, and it ends on page 160 with nodding into the twilight. Okay, so the context. All of them go downtown when it's hot out. Doesn't make sense, because it's hot. So why didn't they just go to, like, the lake that they live on, like, with their boats and stuff? I don't know. That seems like a weird thing to do, but it works with the novel, so we're just gonna keep going. Okay, so Nick tells us what happened after Tom, Jordan, and him leave the scene of the accident where Myrtle dies. It starts out with a shift in perspective to third person, and it goes to the past, and Nick isn't present in the scene at all. Wilson's friend Michaels is trying to comfort him. Wilson, a character defined by his wife, is put into a spiral when he loses her, having an identity crisis. Myrtle is a wannabe trust fund baby like Gatsby, and they both die in the end, which is also interesting. And she didn't really care about her husband very much, but Wilson obviously cared about her. He was willing to move cross-country for her. And he begins to realize how much his wife was affected by characters like Tom and Daisy and Gatsby after she dies, and he has a major freak-out. Okay, so one of the interesting parts of this passage was how Fitzgerald plays with perspective, and he manipulates time and place a lot in the scene, then brings the eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg as a God figure, when Wilson says, God sees everything and just continues to stand there. I think it's particularly interesting because Wilson is such a passive character. Like Nick, things happen to him instead of him making them happen for himself. That is until the end when Wilson goes to Gatsby's house and kills him. I chose psychoanalytical theory because Wilson has an automatic death drive instinct when he has an identity crisis after losing his wife. He goes to Gatsby's house and they both end up dead. It's bizarre that Wilson seems caught up in the moral aspect of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg eyes, and how God watches everything, then goes and commits what is known as the biggest sin in the Christian church, although he does deny having a church right before he talks about God to Michaels. Gatsby didn't even kill Myrtle, but this perspective would have it seem that way. Gatsby wasn't a faultless man, although he died for a crime he didn't commit. Muddled perspective and low self-esteem caused an unlikely character, Wilson, to break down and cause destruction in the lives of the people he didn't really have any connection with, only through his wife. The characters in this part of the novel show how abandoning your natural state, this being class that you were born into, or the characteristics of your personality, ultimately causes destruction to the lives of people around you. So when Wilson has a freak out and abandons his personality characteristics of being a passive character, he ends up killing himself and Gatsby, and 3 people end up dead rather than just Myrtle. And that's it. Alright, have a great weekend.